Never mess with a woman who wings her eyeliner. That's what my grandmother used to tell me. Hi, I'm Gabby and welcome back to another edition of the Fragrantician, where here on this channel we talk about nothing but fragrances. So, if that's your pancakes and syrup, then keep on watching. In today's video, today's edition, we are talking about obnoxious fragrances. Are you an obnoxious person? Are you a Veruca Salt of this world? Then I have some fragrances for your entertainment right here and now. The first one I'm talking about is the Grande Dame herself. It is Angel. This is an honorary mention from the early 90s. This is, I'm not even going to spray it because it is an iconic, obnoxious gourmand of its time. If you can get a formula from the 90s, then do it, because it is well worth it, and there are still some out there. I have this in this version, and I also have ml here. So I have enough of this to last a lifetime. It is Candy Floss Gourmand Caramel Patchouli, in your face, unapologetic. Who gives a damn? One was so popular in the 80s. Was it banned from restaurants? Who knows? Poison by Dior. And my cat is just making himself plum and tuberose and everything to the max. This is a statement fragrance. This fragrance is unapologetic, is obnoxious and bold. I wanted to do a list. I could have included a top 20 here. I could have included a top 30 if I wanted to, of bold statement fragrances, obnoxious fragrances. But I just did 10 in my honorary mention, and Poison had to be in there. This is a semi-reformulated version, but I don't care. I love it. When I'm in that mood, rocking the winged eyeliner, I'm wearing it. Lover's Paradise, of a sweet take on a floral, and that is Flowerbomb Nectar by Viktor and Rolf, which is, in my opinion, long lasting and projects and verges on obnoxious. I spray about 4 or 5 sprays of this, and that's verging on obnoxious because it is a strong, long-lasting fragrance. It is that sap from the flower, as I call it, that nectar, the sweetness. I think in this collection, this is probably the sweetest of the collection, because you know I don't really do gourmands. And this is kind of like a gourmand, really, but it is that sweet, syrupy, flowery gourmand fragrance, and I love it. I love it, and it's less pronounced with the patchouli, unlike the original Flowerbomb, and it verges on more vanilla, sweetness, nectar. Flowerbomb Nectar by Viktor and Rolf. Grab it, because I think this reigns over all of the others, and I haven't tried the new one, and it probably reigns on that as well, because that's got an orchid note in there. And yes, I do like orchid if it's done properly. I'm looking at you, Ange Demande by Givenchy, because that does have orchid in it, but it's not much in it. But this, winner. To some might not be that obnoxious, but I think it is, and that is L'interdit by Givenchy. And as you can see, I've put a huge dent into this. It's 3/4 gone, probably. But I do have a backup bottle of this, and it is sweet tuberose with patchouli and some citrus notes in there. It's all about tuberose. You've got to like tuberose. but it's sweet. It's sweet tuberose. It is a people pleaser. Compliments, but it's loud and obnoxious. Look, you can make these fragrances demure by just one spray, or obnoxious by doing 10 sprays, although I would never, ever do 10 sprays of any of these fragrances. Never. Some 2 or 3, some 5 and 6 max, and that is it. Otherwise, it's wearing you, and you're not wearing it. But L'interdit by Givenchy, it's got to be on the list. Now let's go really old school and go back to the 80s with Lulu. This is an original formula, an old formula, but the newer formula, in my opinion, I think is still just as good. This is incense and florals. Not sweet at all. It takes a bold man or woman to wear this. You've got to be really strong-minded, confident in yourself, confident in your skin to wear this. This is a powerhouse of a fragrance. Lasts and projects like all of these do. Lulu. It is that bold tuberose, a little bit of tuberose, smoky. I love the incense in this. It's that kind of incense that after you've burned it and you smell it in the air with those florals, some people are going to hate it, but I absolutely adore it. And I've got another backup bottle of this. Yes, I have backup. Maybe I should do a video of backup bottles, because I have backup bottles of a lot. Because I use my fragrances. I do use my fragrances. I don't just sit there and marvel at them. I do use them. Ask anybody. Lulu, Cacharel, obnoxious, beast, strong, goddess fragrance. On the list I don't think I've ever talked about. And the first one, because I've only ever worn this a couple of times, the first one I'm going to talk about is by the house of Illuminum Haute Parfumerie, and it is Trumpet Flower. Boy, this is obnoxious. If you spray about 6 sprays of this, 5 or 6, you're going to choke yourself out. Yeah. 2 sprays maximum. When I spray in the same area. So because I want to get more of an intense version. So 1, 2 in the same area, or if I'm doing 3, 1, 2, 3 in the same area. I never spray it around me because I think I want to have it more intensity by concentrating in that area. This does have orange blossom in, but it has this trumpet flower in, the datura flower, and it is a poisonous plant. But what they've done with this is 100 ml. I have not got a backup bottle of this. I've worn this half a dozen times or so, and as you can see, I've barely made a dent in it. It's that potent. You can still buy it online. It has almost a banana effect because of those florals in there, that waxy effect, and I love it. Indolic to the max. Indolic to the max. Beautiful. Illuminum Trumpet Flower. About is by the house of Rogue Perfumery, and that is Antique Jasmine. Now, this brand has no boundaries with IFRA. So what is in here is a bit like a 2-finger salute to IFRA. Well, look, if people are going to make boundaries, do it. I'm always one for breaking boundaries. I just ask previous bosses, just ask people who know me. This is for a person who knows no boundaries. Basically, it is an indolic, filthy jasmine. Waxy, pure 80s shoulder pads, pure 80s shoulder pads. This is what a boss would wear, and you would be, do you know what she was wearing? What was she wearing as that person walks by? Or he, do you know what he or she was wearing as that person walks by? This is what this fragrance is. This has clove, this has a little bit of vanilla and jasmine. And it's a bit of a soliflor. It's by that I mean it's just pure jasmine. Skanky, dirty jasmine. It verges on slightly waxy Band-Aid, but wait for that dry down. The dry down is absolutely magic. You only need 2 to 3 sprays of this. No more, no more. That's even, honestly, it's strong. Strong. Now, in comparison to that, the next one out of all this list probably is obnoxious, because I spray a lot, and that's Serge Lutens Fleurs d'Oranger, and I have 2 backup bottles of this. And the reason why, this is maybe just verging on obnoxious. I do spray about 8 to 10 sprays of this, but it is strong even with 3 sprays in one area, because the orange blossom combined with the cumin and the citruses and the hibiscus, and it has this some sort of slightly dark, because all Serge Lutens fragrances have some slightly dark edge to it. This is dark. It is dark. It's a dark orange blossom. It's a beautiful orange blossom in my opinion, and that's why I like it. It's not soapy at all. It can be pretty, but it can be edgy. It's there to support the orange blossom, and those kind of play together, and I love it for that. Love it, which gives it a slight, almost animalic feel, but not too much. Because I've talked about it to death so much, is Salome by Papillon, because it is that filthy animalic scent. And yeah, need I say any more about it? Some people say it's a nice little bubble. Some people say it's, oh, absolutely awful. I say it's obnoxious, unapologetic perfection. Well done, Liz Moores. You made this for me. You made this for me. And I wasn't sure about animalics. I really wasn't. But combined with the narcissus, the jasmine, the Turkish rose, all of those scents, carnation, and her little magical DNA. Long live Salome. I'm going to have to get a backup bottle of this. I'm going to. Mugler do bangers, don't they? So I had to include Alien. I did, and I've not really talked about it a lot recently, so I'm going to talk about it now because I think it's a good jasmine and amber fragrance, and it's woody as well. If you can, get the pre-reformulated version, because now I think it's a shadow of its former self, especially now in the last couple of years. I have this fragrance in this bottle, and I also have 2 more backup bottles. So either Team Alien, Team Angel, or Team Both like me, and I had to include it on the list because it is one of those fragrances that is classic and obnoxious, and in the air now I can smell it. And really, I do overspray this. I do spray about 7 or 8 sprays of this, maybe more. So yeah, obnoxious to the max. I had to include by Amouage Memoir, which out of this list is, I mean, they're all pretty dark. It's quite a gothic, chypre. It's a gothic chypre, and it is brooding and dark and mysterious. It's for somebody that again has confidence. when the person walks in the room with this fragrance, they have an aura about them that I think people will just gravitate to. It is that type of person. It's that type of person that they're likeable, but they're likeable at a distance and admired at a distance. People, I feel this kind of person that wears this fragrance is quite a magnet of a person and is quite an enigma of a person and has an air of not cockiness, but just, here I am, and I'm going to stay, and whatever you do, as Jessie says, another content creator, I'm going to be here for the shenanigans. This person actually does quite a lot of shenanigans. I've called it my magenta of Rocky Horror Picture Show fragrance. This is that woman or man. This is that person that, well, exudes magnetism. Amouage Memoir. So I consider those, how many times have I said obnoxious in this video? I consider those obnoxious scents. Undersprayed or oversprayed. Oversprayed at your will, at your peril. But what are yours? Comment down below. Until the next time, you've been watching another edition of The Fragrantician. And always remember, guys and gals, spray with gay abandon. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.